Hello folks, thank you for joining me. I'm here in the studio. As you can see, it's the 2nd of December. It's freezing rain outside, but I'm warm and toasty in here because I've got my wood burning stove. Ha! Yes! I thoroughly recommend you get a wood burning log box in your pottery studio. Put a couple of concrete slabs on top. It's a great place to dry your pots. Why don't you join me right now? I'm over there. I'm just sieving some glaze. Let's go over there, we'll talk about that. Pick up the tripod and everything. Yeah. So, I've got a bucket there on the floor there, the blue bucket, and I'm sieving into the other bucket. So, yeah, I've got a sort of system going here for sieving glaze, which I think is a good idea. As you know, these screens or sieves, this is actually, in this case, this is an 80 mesh sieve, and they are designed to fit over these buckets, you see. So that works rather well. I've got to put quite a lot of this glaze through, and so I simply put 3 or 4 of these measuring jugs of glaze into there like that, and then what I do is I get the wheel going, you see, very slow, not too slow, but first thing you want to make sure is you've got your bucket on centre on the wheel. And then I take these implements and I use one of these rubber spatulas, such as you would find in the kitchen, and also this another thing from doing the dishes, one of these guys, and I use them together, pushing against the screen in the middle. And this pushes through the glaze pretty quickly, actually. The glaze I have a little bit on the thick side. It's not as thin as I would want to use it, so I can afford to water it down a little bit afterwards, or even during the actual screening process. Right now I could add a little water to it just to push it through, but that's going through pretty well at the moment. Okay, that's gone through already. So I'm going to give you the recipe for this glaze actually in a minute. So get a pen and paper handy if you'd like to take it. I'll give it to you. In fact, we're empty. So, what I'm going to do is la 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 la. Yeah, I like to get it all out. Waste not, want not, you know. Surprising how the glaze, you know, gets stuck right down in the corner of the bucket. That's something to bear in mind, isn't it, when you come to stir your glaze, that you make sure that you get the glaze. Okay, well I could probably get a bit more out of there, but I'm not going to do it now. So, yeah, so this is a good glaze for doing for decorating on top of. And the way I use it, it is actually, it's like it comes out a sort of milky white colour. I should have an example here, shouldn't I, to show you? I'll go and get one in a sec. Just show you what it actually looks like. It's actually a recipe of my father's, and we used to use it at the pottery at Lower Down, and we used to use this base glaze here, and we used to add 2% red iron oxide to it, and it would give a very good celadon glaze, you know. What I like about doing it like this is it takes all the you know, the arm, shoulder movements out of it as you try to force it through. All I have to do is just hold these implements here like this, you see, and the wheel does the rest of the work. Where there's a wheel, there's a way. Are we still in the picture? Is this still the camera going? Oh, that's good news. It is. Yeah, this recipe is actually for cone 10, so relatively high temperature and in reduction. It's pretty stable at cone 10. It's not a glaze that runs. It lends itself to be decorated on top of without the iron, or with the iron, you know. Almost done. You might ask yourself, or you might be thinking, well, why bother to sieve the glaze, Simon? Well, sometimes these raw materials, you know, that we get are not as clean as you think, and they've got grits in them. So you may want to get rid of those grits, and this is how you do it. It It depends on the raw materials. You know, you'll get some raw materials that is cleaner than others. But at least if you do this, you know that you've got it to a certain degree of cleanliness. That's one reason we do it. Another reason is if you've got metallic oxides in a glaze like iron oxide, when you put it through a sieve, it makes sure all of that iron oxide is thoroughly mixed into the glaze, you see. There are not some parts of it that are still floating around that are not properly evenly blended through into the glaze. So this is a way of blending and mixing an oxide into the glaze. Okay, that's done. So stop the wheel. You'll notice there's some there on the. Just give it like that. Okay, so that's that. It's best to wash those things up fairly soon. Don't let the glaze dry all over the utensils, otherwise it takes a while to get it clean. What I do also is this is definitely worthwhile investing in something like this. Just a reasonably powerful drill with one of these guys on the end, which you can then. It's best to do this with a bucket on the floor, by the way, but I'm just showing it to you. Making the wheel go round. So what I'm going to do here now with this glaze is actually too thick at the moment to use. Just bring the camera a little bit closer because I know that interests people, doesn't it? The thickness of the glaze, and well, so it should as well because it's important, isn't it? Get the glaze thickness right. I'm just going to show you this. This is not the right thickness, but well, that's no good, Simon. Why are you showing us something that is not so well? Because I haven't added the water yet. That's why. Well, I'm going to add the water. Maybe I should do. But you can see that there. You see how thick that is. My dad used to say, well, how do you know it's the right thickness? Well, when you can see the hairs sticking through from the back of your hand, you know it's the right thickness. Yeah, well, that's okay if you've got hairs on the back of your hand, but if you haven't got any, that's no good, is it? So how do you tell? Well, I'll be honest with you. I do it by eye and through just experience. Now, if you're not experienced, that doesn't help you. I appreciate that. One needs to add water. Let's add. Here's a jug of water. We'll add that, and we'll have another one ready. We'll add that. Let's see what that does. Let's see what that does. As you bring it out, you need to slow this down, otherwise it makes a lot of mess, you know. So I'm looking at that, and now I'm having yeah, that's still thick. That is still thick. Let's get it right. Of course, if you put it through the sieve, in a more watery state, it goes through quicker, doesn't it? Let's have another look. It's still actually just a touch thick. So we'll add a little more. What you want to be careful about is, of course, if you're just about wanting to use the glaze, you don't want to mix it too thin. Doesn't matter if I'm going to use it tomorrow morning, say, and it is a bit thin, I can then tomorrow the sediment will go down a bit and the water I'll be able to scoop off. Have a look at that. Okay, well that's just about okay. All right. If anything, it's just a weeny bit on the thick side, but I'm not going to mess with it anymore because I want to give you the recipe for it quickly. And let's have a look. I've got it here on my iPad. Are we still in the picture? We are. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, here it is. In fact, what you see here in this bucket, here, why don't I just put it in front of the screen? Is that going to work? No. Okay, I'll read it to you. Okay, here goes. So in this recipe we've got, I'll just read out the ingredients. Quartz, china clay. Now quartz, you can use flint, and china clay, kaolin, okay, feldspar, whiting, talc. These are the ingredients then, okay? Starting at the top, flint, 8 pounds, kaolin, 5 pounds, 8 ounces, potash feldspar, 7 pounds, 12 ounces, whiting, 3 pounds, 12 ounces, talc, 2 pounds, 4 ounces. That will give you a white, milky kind of glaze, which is good for decorating on, it's good at high temperature, and it doesn't run. Good for cone 10 in reduction. Now, if you want to make that into a celadon glaze, just add 2% iron oxide, which is 8 ounces of iron oxide. That will give you, it'll turn the glaze pink, you know, at this stage, but it'll turn it into a greenish celadon glaze at cone 9 and 10. Okay, now I did say I would show you one of these, an example of that. It's the glaze that you see over there on the table. You see I'm decorating over there these guys. You see, I banded these, and this is that glaze. But that's not in the finished state. So just bear with me for 30 seconds. I'm just going to nip up into the gallery and see if I can find something with that on for you to see. Sorry about that, folks, deserting you. Anyway, I'll just show you these quickly. It's not really a white. This is one little thing, a little pot I did with this on. You'll see, hang on, let's get it up there so you can see it. You'll see that it's a sort of grey colour slightly in reduction. You can see there I've done a decoration, brushwork decoration on top. You can see the iron here on the top. You see, you'll get a little bit of iron spotting depending if there's any iron in the clay. Here it is on the inside of a GP bowl. Another little ramekin I just got there. You can see a bit of cobalt. So it's actually very good for decorating on. Anyway, just a short clip, folks. Here we are in the studio. I've got to glaze these pictures, pack a kiln, fire it. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Please go to my website, simonleachpottery.com, and if you go there, you will see that one of the things I'm doing at the moment is Skype sessions. If anybody wants to do a Skype session with me, they can do. Just go there and you'll see what the details about it. Anyway, if that interests you. So, not much more to say other than stay warm and yeah, keep practicing. That's it, isn't it? Keep practicing. I'm hoping to get some pots through the kiln. I have been severely lacking, and I apologise, in getting pots through for you to see. We've been sort of mixed up a little bit with teaching, etc. And I just wanted to get back to more of a regular routine of making and firing, etc. You know. Okay, folks. Well, thanks a lot. We'll see you soon. Bye.